So I want to emphasize that you really don't have a communication problem with the other person. Sure, there might be issues that you have to be sussed out, but you really don't have a communication issue with the other person nearly as much as you think probably. Especially if it's a romantic partner and there's love there and there's history there and there's emotional understanding there and there's empathy there. Especially if it's a relationship that has been good in the past and continues to have a lot of good qualities to it. You do not have to worry too much about there being a communication issue there. The communication issue you want to focus on is how you're communicating to yourself. That's really what we're looking at. These big feelings might come up. These contractions, as people say. Strong, heavy feelings, tight feelings that squish us, our chest tightening, our stomach feeling nauseous, queasy, our head pounding, heavy feelings, visceral feelings. How are you communicating to yourself about that? Are you saying something like, I'm not good enough, this is impossible, I'm never going to be good enough, there's something wrong with me, there's something wrong with him, there's something wrong with her, I'm completely overwhelmed, this is not workable, this is it, I can't go on like this? Is that how you're communicating to yourself? I bet you a lot of the time it probably is to some degree. And we all have a tendency to communicate that way, honestly. To take a very pessimistic, negative, communicative tone towards ourselves. To beat ourselves up, basically. But the alternative is to start communicating more kindly, compassionately, nicely, lovingly to yourself when you have these big feelings. When the head's pounding, your throat feels tight, your chest is all tight, knotted up, your stomach's in, queasy waves of nausea. That's an optimal time to start communicating more compassionately towards yourself. Because there's nothing wrong with you. That's just the body doing what it's doing. The body is processing something. The body's probably trying to tell you something. And we put a negative narrative on top of that body processing that is screwing us up. If we just eliminate that narrative and are basically doing something along the lines of, it doesn't have to be these exact words, but something like, you're okay right now. I'm okay. I'm going to feel these feelings and I'm okay. Or doing something like I often suggest, actually asking the feeling with some objectivity, with some kindness, what do you want? Being in short with the feeling instead of judging it, instead of pushing it away, communicating with it nicely, compassionately, instead of saying, oh, my life's over, this is terrible, I can't handle this, I can't handle this, I can't handle this. Not communicating like that, but communicating compassionately. This feeling's here. This feeling's very intense. It feels very, very tight right now. But I'm here with it. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay in this moment, even with this feeling here. And I'm listening to you feeling. I'm listening to you. And if there's something you want, I'm going to try to listen well enough so I can help you get what you want. But I'm just here and I'm okay. If you're communicating like that, more consistently, more consciously, and make it a practice of doing that, which can look something like when these feelings arise, giving yourself a minute or two just to be with the feelings, or maybe setting aside a certain period of time, like 5 or 10 minutes each day, just to be with a tough feeling in the morning or in the evening or in the middle of the day, if we start communicating with our feelings differently, it changes how we are treating ourselves. Because instead of gaslighting ourselves and saying, oh, I'm doing this wrong, this feeling means there's something wrong with me, this feeling means I'm never going to be good enough, this feeling means that he can't love me or she can't love me, if instead of following that narrative all day long because of how I'm feeling, I'm start being compassionate to my body for feeling what it's feeling and start acknowledging that the feelings are probably actually trying to help me, to protect me, or provide me answers or ways to go forward, even though it doesn't rationally look like that always. If I start listening to my feelings in that way and letting them guide me as opposed to looking at them as adversaries, I start to calm down a little bit inwardly and I start to treat myself more kindly. And then, because you're communicating with yourself differently in this manner, you will realize the communication with your partner was never the issue, nearly as much as the communication with yourself and with these feelings. You know how to communicate with your partner if you've had a good relationship before. You probably even know how to challenge them. You probably even know how to argue with them if you need to. It's not the communication with the other person that I'm that concerned about. It's the communication with these feelings. Because if you start communicating with these feelings in a more compassionate way, you'll realize, okay, I'm an okay person. There's nothing wrong with me. And I like my partner, I love my partner, and there's nothing really wrong with them either. Or if there is something wrong, we're going to talk about it. And if these feelings come up, that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with me. I'm still capable of having a conversation with my partner about what's going on. This is how changing your self-concept, how you feel about yourself, will change your romantic relationships and all types of relationships. When you stop gaslighting yourself for having big feelings and start embracing the feelings and learning from the feelings, you in turn start treating other people differently and more compassionately.